I forgot to mention that about a month ago it was my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, which also made me feel old because I too can remember doing last year's Nerimon YouTube survey, and that video was one of the first videos that I made, and I never uploaded it because I watched it back and I thought it was fucking boring. So let's see how I've improved as a vlogger when I do this year's survey, shall we? I'll tell you what definitely has not improved in this last year is my lighting. God, it's fucking horrible. I'm sorry guys, I really need a window in this room. Right, let's get this over and done with. Question 1, why are you called that? My name is Angus just because that's what my parents wanted to call me. I don't know, they were going to call me Arthur, fun fact, but I'm glad they didn't. Arthur, who the fuck is called that past like the 17th century? But actually my full name is Angus Samuel Redmond Roach, and that's where my username comes from. Oh, see, you've always wondered that, haven't you? The reason that I have 2 middle names is because my grandfather's last name was Redmond Roach, like with a dash in between it, and he gave that name to all his kids as well, but my dad thought it was too long, so he dropped it, and he called his kids just Roach for the last name and made Redmond the second middle name. There you go, a little bit of family history there. Tell us about your favourite school teacher. My favourite school teacher was my high school history teacher called Mr. Kilpatrick, and he was great because he just didn't take any bullshit, you know? You know how most people when they're taking like English or history, they think that even if they don't know that much about the topic, they can just bullshit their way through an answer. Not with this guy, because he would just go through, continuously underline stuff and just say, what is this waffle? What's going on here? And it was just great. I remember this one time, at the start of the class, he got us doing this task, and then he said to us, right, I'm just gonna pop out of the room for 5 and 10 minutes, you guys just keep on doing your work. And then 40 minutes later, at the end of the class, he came in with a Starbucks cup, and he'd obviously walked 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back to the shopping centre near our school. That is just brilliant teaching. And obviously he knew a lot about history as well, which is a good quality to have as a history teacher, but I remember we went back to my high school like about a year ago just to like visit and see how things were. So we saw him and we just started having a chat and stuff, and turns out he is the dirtiest old man in Australia. Like, I never realised before, because obviously he didn't do it when we were kids, like when we were at school with him. But now that we had finished school, he had absolutely no problem asking us about the intimate details of our sex lives, and he came up with 2 euphemisms for vagina that I've never heard anyone say anywhere, let alone my high school history teacher, and they were, have you guys been getting much fluff? And have you guys been getting much crumpet? Strangest food you've ever eaten. Although I consider myself pretty well travelled for a 20-year-old. Sorry. I don't think I've really eaten that much strange food. I had a salad the other day for the first time ever. That was pretty weird. Tell us about your first gig. I'm not sure if this question is referring to the first gig that I ever went to or the first gig that I ever played, but I'll tell you about both. The first gig I ever went to would have been Blink-182 in about 2003. It was just after the self-titled album came out, and it was awesome, obviously. The first gig I ever played was when I was 12 years old. Yeah, I started young. I'm a rock star, alright? I still remember what we played as well. We played All Systems Go by Boxcar Racer. We played like a rock ballad that we wrote, and we also played the worst song in the world ever, and I'll play it to you now. I still remember when we wrote this song, we thought it was absolutely genius. Here's the chorus. Don't help. Don't help. What is your favourite place in the world? London. Who do you want to answer the survey next? Preferably no one, to be honest. I've watched so many of these surveys, and I don't really like to watch tag videos. I think they're boring and unoriginal. I mean, obviously the other members of this channel have to answer the survey because it's the theme this week, but if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should do the Nerimon survey. No, don't. Let's not make Nerimon put us through this every year, because if no one does the survey, he won't do it again next year, so just think about that. Let's bring this guy's ego down a little bit, shall we?